Well, welcome to this show today. We've got quite a few things we want to hit if I make it through. Went to the doctor today and now I'm feeling like my cheeks are on fire, maybe coming down with something. So don't get too close to your screen just in case somehow we got some sort of Star Trek virus thing going between computers through the internet. All right, so the title is TrumpRx DJIA tops 50K, rhymes. Higher jobless, explain, mortgage rates ignore yield. This is episode 293 on the date 2/6 of 26. Find all these stats chat over to YouTube by hitting that QR code. Should take you right to that list, that playlist. There you are. So let's talk about what we got going on. Well, according to the latest thermometer, we're 52 degrees outside, which is a darn sight better than what we were even this morning. 3 days ago, Channel 4 was suggesting that we were going to have another Arctic blast, and maybe we are, but it wasn't showing in my telephone-based Google phone app of the weather. It wasn't there, so I don't know what has changed. We can't trust... we can't predict things more than 3 days out, and they got all the models in the world doing it. All right, so let's start with our first little bit we've got going on. White House launches direct-to-consumer drug site TrumpRx. Well, of course, it has to have his name for some reason. Why can't they call it something like Help Us Here RX or something? I don't know. It's just the way it is. Always self-promoting. I should learn how to do that better myself. Here's what you need to know. And they got a double team by Anika Kim Constantino and Jacob Pramuk. I butchered both those names, but I do want to say them. It is from CNBC. It was Dateline February 5, which would have been yesterday. We'll just hit the bullet points. President Donald Trump on Thursday announced the launch of TrumpRx. We've heard about this before. We knew it was coming. A direct-to-consumer website that is key to his administration's effort to lower prescription drug costs in the U.S. Well, if we could maybe do some sort of government TrumpRx cooperative to lower prices like Obamacare was supposed to, maybe that will be good. I know certain people need some help out there. I don't think that could be bad. I don't care who did it. The site is not selling drugs directly to American patients, but will act as a central hub that points them to drug makers that are offering discounts on certain products on their own direct-to-customer site. Now, see, this is different than what I thought we were going to get when they first announced it. It is just what it is still. It's still unclear if all patients, particularly those with insurance coverage, will see more cost savings from using that site to buy their medicines. Well, we can hope it will. We'll find out if it will when more is given to us in the solid, because we've heard rumors of this. Now they announce it, but it's still sketchy sounding to me as far as what we're actually going to get. We can look at this, but like I said, I may have a fever developing and I want to get off so we don't take too much time. We're 3 minutes, 42 seconds in this recording right now. So let's hit the next thing. Investopedia. We're at 50K. The stock market today ends, the Dow ends above 50K. First time as indices rebound sharply after a 3-day sell-off. Bitcoin, I know some of you believe in the Bitcoin stuff. I don't necessarily believe in the Bitcoin, but some of y'all do. And Bitcoin bounces back above 70,000. Aaron Renee updated today. I'm sorry. It was just today. My mistake. Got the fever. Fever for you, baby. All right. Now, it does say the blue chip Dow Jones Industrial Average, benchmark S&P 500, tech-heavy NASDAQ soared. That's all of them soared. 2.5, 2%, and 2.2 respectively, with the Dow soaring more than 1,200 points to 5137, topping its all-time high set Tuesday. Now, I'm not going to read a lot of this because it goes into, the big ones that are really holding the entire stock market up. same ones we know. They used to be FANG, and before that it was something else. I forget what it was. But anyway, it's always a couple of big performers making up the bulk of this while the rest of them. So anyway, with this going what it's doing, we've heard so many people that are just, in my opinion, just negative Nates. They often are, I think, politically motivated, want to tell you that this economy is going terrible and everybody's losing out. Well, we haven't been able to reverse the last 4 years, but we've certainly kind of got it under a better control. And in the housing market, we're seeing sellers a little bit sketchy because they're like, oh, wow, I really had planned on this huge, big extra jump consecutive with all the years we've had that was caused by inflation. Now it's kind of flattening out, leveling out. I don't know that all the sellers are realizing that this is going to help bring buyers back into the game, because they're beginning to feel like there's a defeatist kind of thing that gets into you. Have you ever tried to do something, maybe a diet or save some money? It seemed like transmission blows, you just lost that, and you just kind of give up when you want to give up. Well, don't give up. Never give up. Can't, never could. Quitters never win. So just hang in there. It is shifting a little bit from the crazy seller's market to something more in the middle, more toward the buyers. I think it's doing a better job. And let's get to our next little article before I flush out on you. This is surging jobless claims and big layoff announcement are not the signs of a collapsing labor market. Here's why. The reason I bring this in is because over on the waste book, I have one of my usual nemesis talking about the ADP, and that led us into a nice discussion with one of the guys, one of our mutual friends. ADP does not represent the entire market. It's only non-farm jobs, and they get their data from people they work with, so it is a little bit cloudy. They don't ever match. They track fairly close in that one segment, but they don't track government. So if we had a massive layoff in government, ADP would not reflect that, because they don't do the government, and they only do the non-farm. So they don't do that kind of stuff. So, but what we got going on here, this is from Market Watch. Still showing as I'm taping this, 51,1,567, up 2.47% one day. That's a pretty good jump right there. That sounds like the economy is doing better than, better than a lot of us are right now in a one-day jump. This is, of course, this is from Jeffrey Bartash. Don't know him, never met him. Published February 5, that is yesterday. We're 7 minutes 58 into this, so we're already taking a while. We need to get on with the program, so we won't go too much into that. But we do see that we did have jobless claims spike a little bit because of the layoff. But what it does is somewhere down in here, it talks about, here we are, the private firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, that's another big one, U.S.-based company, announces 108,000 layoffs in January, up sharply from the prior month. It was the biggest tally for the month since 2009. So that sounds pretty scary. But here's the good part. We lead up to you. We tell you the bad part. You know, like I said, I went to the doctor. If you go to the doctor, they tell you something bad, and then the next thing you do, they tell you it's probably not going to be that as bad as what it seems. But we just have to get the shock over you right now. It says the rise in jobless claims is probably tied to January's severe winter storms. Many people were temporarily unable to work, and some likely filed the claims. Employment agencies were also closed in some states. Tennessee, especially if you were in Nashville, they lost power, still don't have power back. Delays in the processing of some unemployment applications. That may have just chuck some of the delayed response from, getting them taken care of. Weather introduced, this is a quote from Oxford Economics here. Bernard Yaros, I think is his name was. We'll get to it. Weather introduces volatility, and the latest claims report covers the immediate aftermath of the severe winter storm that affected large swaths of the U.S. Mississippi got hit. We got hit. Oxford down there, Ole Miss. Hotty toddy, got me some hotty toddy friends, but we still roll tide. Aftermath of severe weather storm hit the largest swath in the U.S. Late January, Bernard Yaros, lead U.S. economist at Oxford Economics. Indeed, down here, let me slide this up because I'm getting a little dizzy with this spontaneous human combustion I'm about to bop into. Indeed, the uptick in the new jobless claims last week was the largest in the regions that were heavily affected by the storm, such as the Northeast and Midwest. All right, so we had the ice, other people got the snow. It's the same basic idea, weather disrupt stuff as far as that goes. Although I understand the bread and milk lobby were very happy with the pre-storm forecast, as they always are. Well, before we get to the numbers, what we need to do is remind people that we want you to hit that subscribe button, mash that notification bell so you get these viral infected, in this case probably flu virus, a cold virus, infected shows to you when they come out, as quickly as they come out. Now, we do have to get to our numbers, which are simultaneously displayed for expediency. Last week, we were down in the availables, but up in the under contracts. We remain the same at 14. It's 130, 26, 26, 515 in the availables, 38, 12 in the under contracts. This week, not a real big change in anything, because you see we still got that square on the 14 under contract ratio. Came down a little bit in the availables, but it's not off but about 300 or so. And of course, we have the under contracts. They fell just a tad. Again, we were iced in. It's going to have some sort of an effect here. And the Nashville area was big hit. We may not have been big hit in Rutherford County, but they were, and they're still without power. So that doesn't bother me for the same reason that the jobless claims don't bother me. 26,263, 38,03 in the under contracts.